Hello and welcome to Elvenhome, and to this edition in which I carry on working on the low relief works front and putting the back on. I'll talk to you a bit about how I'm going to light it, but more importantly we take a look about how I'm going to construct the bridge, and in particular how this week I constructed the set of stairs. So here you can see the low relief works in its place. I'll take it down on the desk in just a moment so you can see what little work I've done. I was going to get on with this much more until I realized something, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But I wanted you to see trains running right from the start, because the layout's still not really in a usable way to do much in the way of a running session. The key thing for me was to get to the stage where this was essentially finished with its back, and as I said, I'll show you that in a moment, because the key distance is the one here to where the footbridge, which is going to come across here, goes in. Now you saw that in the last video, I think, that I'd made a bit of a mock-up of what the bridge might look like. But now with this here, I could actually position everything finally. And if I put this bridge in place, now I've added to the end a piece to go in the side and some steps, so it will need steps to go up, because once I had this in place, that was the original height that I was using for the footbridge, but that wasn't really high enough. Trains could pass under it, just about. And also, because of the way I want to build this bridge, I wanted there to be the deck has to be this height, and I wanted that to be sitting on a piece of I-beam. So I reworked the height on this side, which I hope you can see on the camera. It's just off camera. It would be on the far end side, and got this so that this is level. And as you will see, he said, hopefully, yes, trains pass under it. Thank God it didn't knock the bridge off, because that would have been a lot of work that I've done this week ruined. So I now know the height that the, and let me move this way now, this piece has to be, and that allowed me also to start thinking about building the stairs, and it's those that took me a very long time to do. So the other thing that I was wondering about was when and how I was going to light, or rather how rather than when, in here. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought that actually I needed to get another of the distribution boards that I've used elsewhere, because there will be a number of 3-volt lamps in here, and there are 2 units that run off of 12 volts. And I will want to be putting other lighting along this area and further up either way. So it makes sense to have the distribution board that can handle a large number of lights. So I'll just reposition things and go down onto the desk and show you what I've done so far on the putting the back to this, and give you an idea of how I'm going to light it, and then show you something that is not very big but took me an awful long time to build. I'd mentioned in previous videos that I was hoping that the card template that I originally built just to help me get the dimensions for the front of the piece would actually work as the back of the unit. But I very quickly realized when I was starting to think about how I was going to light this, that the way I'd constructed the back template limited room inside for one or two things that I wanted to put in there. So if I take this off, I'd built this in sections to try and get the size, and this is about 3 millimeters deep, and there's not very much. There's I'm going to do 12, I think, the depth of the inside. So taking 3 millimeters off that was starting to make things a bit difficult. So instead, I've got, as you know, I've got sheets of 3 millimeter A3 plywood. So I cut a single piece of this and then drilled through into the wood at the top and bottom, so that the back can be screwed on and equally can be screwed off. And I have a cunning plan for the back of this that will be visible above the control panel, but that will have to wait for another day. What I'm proposing to do in terms of lighting is to put one of these very small, if I bring them up here, off-white yellow LEDs, and position one of them between two windows. So there'll be one light there, one light there, one light there, same on the other side. So there'll be 6 lamps. I've tested what that looks like, and the light would be at the top coming down, because I did think about lighting underneath, but that would look odd because the light would be coming from the wrong direction. They will then run in a channel that will go along the top. Now, handily, those on this side, I think these might be long enough without needing to put extra wire on top of them, because they're quite long, to reach to where the distribution board will be. It was as I was working this out that I realized that actually I'm going to have quite a lot of 3-volt lamps knocking around, and if I get one of the distribution boards, I can save myself the bother of having to fit resistors to them all. The 12-volt items that I have can run off of the 12-volt lighting bus that runs around the whole of the layout anyway, so that they're not a problem, and this will make life a lot simpler for me than having to wire in addition to probably having to put longer wire on the end, than having to wire in resistors to them all. So the channel will run along there. These are very thin. I'm going to get some more wire than I have that is thinner, because I really don't need a lot of bulky wires running along here. If this is good enough for it, it's good enough for it in terms of thickness of wire. So I'll acquire some red and black thin wire to do those. The distribution board left China yesterday and is due with me towards the end of next week, I think, or maybe the week after. So there's no desperate rush, but I'll buy the wire that I need to extend, and I will be able to put this in probably some channel. I think I've got 1 or 2 ideas in my head, and I'll see which will work the best to fix them in there, but also in case any of them go, that I can easily get them out again and replace them with something else. The other thing that I needed to do, which wouldn't have been possible with the card, is that the unit that looks like an arc welder is very, very slightly taller than that space there. So I will need to cut a hole so that I can position this and set it back a bit, wherever I think I want to put it, which may be something like this, so that this is not actually in front of a window, but is sparking off to the side, and that will give the spark effect through there. So that's what I'm going to be doing in terms of lighting. And as I said, the back can screw onto here, which keeps it all nice and firm and holds it all really rather tight, but still gives me access if I need to do it. So having got that done and having screwed the back on, as you saw from the earlier clip, I was able to finalize the height of the bridge deck. And having done that, I was able to start thinking about building some stairs, which I thought wouldn't take me very long. In the end, it took me 2 days. And once I've repositioned a few things, I'll explain why. So here you can see the thing that has taken me the best part of 2 days to complete, and you wouldn't believe it. A lot of the time was spent with my brows furrowed. This is all plastruct, apart from the I-beam that's underneath, which is evergreen styrene. I mean, it's all styrene of one kind or another. When I was starting to work out how to start build the stairs, I knew that I was going to put 2 sets of stairs either side of each other, and I'd bought enough stairs to be able to build the whole thing. What I couldn't easily see, and I tried lots of things, was what the pitch of the stairs are. And I took a long time trying different lengths, trying different angles. Did that look right? Did it not? So this is going to short circuit a lot of cudgelling for you. In the end, a thought finally struck me that the side rails are built to go with the pitch of the stairs. So on some graph paper, I drew out the height that I wanted to reach and the length that I thought the stairs would be, and finally realized that if I set this in its position and glued them together, which was a bold move because if it hadn't have worked I'd have ruined everything, I knew that I only wanted the length of the intermediate platform to be 1 wide. So when you put that into position, it's not going to play ball, is it? There we go. If we put that into position, finally you've got the pitch of your stairs. And once I had done that on my plan, I knew the distance that I needed to come up to was here, which I think is about 36 millimeters. The actual bridge itself will not have a big hard piece of card there. It's going to have pretty much the same as you see here. So then I started work on actually beginning to build it, and a fiddly job it was too. I was thinking of videoing myself working on it, but partly because I very quickly realized that sitting watching me with furrowed brow for hours on end would not be riveting viewing, but also that my hands or my head would inevitably be in the way if I was trying to fix it. So I started off by building this. Once I had this and I'd worked out the height it needed to be, I could cut. So this was the first thing to be built, this side, and then it was cut to size. And then I could cut the stairs to size to fit on the inside of this first piece here. Having got that in place, I could then build this side. It sounds so simple when you talk it back. It's a lot harder to do. The next thing that I needed to do, I've just knocked those off, never mind, stick them back on, was to work out how to fit the platform in, because it sits underneath one set of stairs but on top of the other. So it needed to be filed a little bit on that one and on that one, and then also chamfered either side so that this slots in without going at a funny angle. And the final thing to do was to take a piece of this and cut the bottom bits off just to leave the handrails and fit those. And as you see, I didn't fit those ones very well because it's fallen off. They'll get re-glued in a minute. So that gives me now my set of stairs that sit, oh yes, and also to make the bottom. That is not, it's fairly straightforward really. It's 2mm I-beam with 1 by 1.5mm bar, and I put initially I put the two pieces on either side, but I could see that the legs were spreading at the bottom, so then I went and put two pieces either side there, and that's given it a nice rigid base, and that then sits as it should. This is slightly smaller than it needs to be, because when I put it up to the bridge it actually sits off the ground, but that's partly because the ground isn't even that it's going to be sitting on, and I think I'll probably need to put it into a base. So I didn't want to be chopping at this thing. I'd much rather be adjusting the base that it's sitting on to get the height right once I've got it into position. So this has taken me an awful long time. Really just trying to work out how to do it. Usually I can do a drawing and then go and make it. With this it took much longer than it should have done, I'm sure, but I'm pleased with the result. It's got to obviously be painted, it's not going to be left like that, which means I can move on now, which is what the work of next week, to actually build what this structure will look like using the 2mm I-beam. Is that I-beam or H-beam? H-beam that will run underneath, on top of which will be one of the York model rail girders, which have completely disappeared. I thought, oh, here it is. Yes, I have one for hand, one of these. So that will sit on top of the I-beam as the side on either side. This part will not be there at all, and instead I'll make a better fist of having a double set of stairs, which are already here and waiting, that allows me to get from where the gap is on the works unit. I have to be able to bring them up a bit, be able to get this high enough for trains to pass underneath. I thought I might, because the entrance to the works unit is in the right place. If it was up higher, they'd be going in at a very strange angle. So that is the work of next week. So for the next video I expect to have the completed bridge made and all painted up, with its handrail stuck back in. So that is where all the time and effort has gone this week, which rather derailed other things I was expecting to do and to be able to record for you. But I'm pleased with the outcome, even with the rickety handrails. And I'll get those fitted back on. And let's just go up on the layout now to bring the video to an end. Well, here we are back on the layout, and you can see the bridge span in its place and with its stairs. And I think, I must confess, I'm really pleased with it. It goes just right, and the distance now for the number of stairs coming down and the overall length of the footbridge looks about right. I didn't mention earlier on why I decided to actually build a footbridge. All the kits that are out there are just the wrong shape or size, or I would needed to have bought 2 or more kits to have enough pieces to create what I wanted. So it is just easier for me to build the thing than to try and adapt or kit bash existing kits. So with that largely brings, well, it does indeed bring this week's episode to a close. Much less than I expected to be able to show you. At the start I was going to have it all lit, I was going to have the bridge built and painted and all sorts of things, but there you are. Once you actually start doing these things, sometimes it just takes a bit longer to get it all completed. I hope you've liked the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up, that's all very helpful. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, it'd be great to have you along. And if you've got any comments, the thing I always say, please do give me your comments, because they're just immensely helpful to people, to me, and the people that have commented in the past have all helped me make the layout what it is so far. So until I speak to you again in about a fortnight's time, that's bye bye from me. Bye bye.